everyone, and welcome back to another video with me, Shruti. You're watching Living Our Ascension. So today I'm in Sequoia National Park, and this is the beautiful view that's behind me. And I just wanted to make a video that you can say that it's an ascension update, but I want to speak about the concept of freedom. When it comes to new souls, how we are creating the new earth, and what kind of values we have, the new values that we are creating, because nobody else is going to give us permission to live a free life. And I wanted to just, in today's video, speak a little bit about what that looks like. So if you would like to hear more, please join me and stay tuned and watch this video. So when it comes to values of the new earth, it's all about adventure and exploration, and rather than just being where we are and living in stagnation. So exploration and expansion basically happens beyond the comfort zone always. So new humans have to live in a way where they are pushing their comfort zone very frequently, and that's just the way to live, and that's what keeps life exciting as well. And there can be this false concept of security that we've had over centuries, because we have all of these primal fears and we didn't know how to really work with them, because fear in itself has a purpose. It shows you that there's something that is that might be threatening to you, but we're not supposed to just hold them, keep holding them in the body. It's just for the moment, and you react appropriately, and then you just let it go. But over time, humans have built this way of being within them where we want this security, and we do everything, whether it's our work or our relationships, we choose things according to what will be secure, rather than living, experiencing and expanding in the now. And everything is meant to evolve with us, whether it's the work that you do, whether it's the relationships that you have. And these are the values of the new earth. They are about this adventure and constant exploration, constant expansion beyond the comfort zone. And if your relationships and work, for example, are not expanding with you, they don't allow for that freedom, then we have to let them go, or at least within ourselves we need to change, and we need to fully embrace that there needs to be some sort of a change. And when that space is created from the inside, in our hearts, in the higher heart space, then it finds a way in the external as well. So it doesn't always mean that we just have to quit our job and quit our relationships. Often there are pathways that are lit up. And what's happening is that we can have our wishes delivered to us, delivered at our feet almost, whether it's the relationships that we wanted that are co-creative, or the kind of work that we wanted to do. For example, I love the work that I do, sharing about Ascension. But we can have those opportunities delivered to us, but they're not always presented in a way, and often not presented in the way that we thought, with everything else aligning exactly as we thought, as we planned, but they're always as we needed them to be. It's always imperfect. When things come through spirit, it's always perfect. It's within the scope of something greater. So for example, work is not fulfilling for most of humanity. The kind of jobs that they do, there's just desk jobs where they're just at work and they're missing the sunshine, and it's like they're kept away from the sunlight for so long, and it's really not healthy. But we can have these opportunities that are delivered to us to actually do what we love to do. And that's what new human life is about. We don't need tons of money, tons of resources, none of that. All of that can be quite wasteful, the way that society has conditioned these values for us, whereas new values are about simplicity. You might not need as much as you think, and things have a way of showing up, and often they'll show up in surprising ways when we've created the space, when we first act within trust, when we take a leap of faith, whether in whatever it is, our work, our relationships, all of it. And what happens is that we can feel that I don't have the security though. I don't have the security that tomorrow, that next month I'll have this amount of money and things like that. But the new earth, when you're aligned with the new timeline, it's a different process, and things show up when you need them. And you if you're careful, you'll see in the now moment, like right now, you will have what you need, and you're meant to work with whatever's there for you, with you, in the now. So if it's, let's say, it's equipment that you need to do something, and you desire, like, a fancy, let's say, like I'm working with a camera, for example, and if I desire this fancy camera, but you can start with something small, something you already have, like maybe it's just your phone camera. And we often hold ourselves back thinking that, there's a ton of things that we need before we need to begin. However, in the new earth, it's always, your resources are there in front of you, whatever you need in the now. And you need to take an action with what's already here, whether it's people, it's things, or it's the opportunities that are presented to you. And often these are, a person needs to be awake to a certain degree to see that opportunity. And that's why these opportunities can be hidden, can be a bit mystical. When you are humble enough to embrace that small opportunity, something really big opens up. And the process of growth and success then is not linear, like one step, that like we're used to, that here I have this much of money, and then this much builds up and things like that. It's not linear. The process of the divine feminine has a circular path, and it comes in cycles. So we have to be willing to go through those cycles. There will be a point where there's a high point, and then there's like a crescendo, and we need to be able to hold space in that. The points where it's all blank and there's a void, there's a reason for that. That's actually the darkest point, that is before the light comes in. So we have to be able to trust within and hold space within that. That's our highest power, actually, as manifestors, is when we can trust that space. And so, as I was saying, you can have your wishes delivered to you, which is what is happening now, especially since the eclipses, like new timelines have landed for us, and I've spoken about this in previous videos. But, the perfect relationship, the perfect work that you truly desire at a soul level, like I was saying, may not look exactly the way that you thought, or may not bring the other factors around it, the other things that exactly as you thought, but it will be in a space of complete freedom for you. So don't chase security, reap what's in the now first. Freedom is what you are. It's not something that you need to accumulate, like only when I have a certain amount of equipment or money, or something from another person, like security from another person, can I feel safe. No, safety is not like that. In the new earth, we know that we are safety, we are freedom, we are all these essences, we are love, everything that we need. And with that's how we create. So whereas, like, in the past, our values were that there's a past, there's a present, and then there's a future, and that's a linear path. When we live, within freedom, it's all now. So if you have a past, present, future, like a linear flow in, when it comes to previous timelines, when it comes to the third dimensional earth, in fifth dimensional and higher, it's not like that. It's an expanded feeling, and it's just the now moment that's ever experienced. It's like if I'm here in the now, I'm not just in this linear, almost like a straight line kind of a feeling. It's like there's a whole bubble, there's a whole field that's around me, and that just expands and expands and expands. And as I move, whether I'm moving in a linear timeline in the third dimension, it's that whole space is moving with me, and that space is that space of freedom, complete freedom and utter freedom, that we live in as new masters. And so we're expanding like this, that we are becoming not just masters on the new earth, which means that we've done a certain level of self-mastery, and we are living as a master on the new earth. But it's not just now living as a master on the new earth, but off the new earth. And this is what Spirit is showing me that we will be expanding into next year, because the next year is also about to come. We just have 2 months or something left within this year. So that is something that we'll be expanding into, all of these new opportunities that have been given to us, these opportunities that have just landed at our feet, that we required at a soul level, we really deeply desired. pay attention to what they are, and really use them, because often we can find ourselves complaining a lot and having these negative thoughts, myself included, about what's going to happen. So for example, in a couple of months I'll be leaving the US, and now I always have, whenever these moments come, I have these thoughts about what's it going to be, how's the security going to happen, a change in job, location, everything. But as new masters, you'll be placed exactly where you need to be. Whether that's in your relationships, your work, the place of living, and there's a higher logic to it, there's a higher flow to it. So get used to being in that field, really feeling the now moment, like I'm here, in this space, and you create your own space. So this is something that's really important. So for example, we are on a tour here, and we have very limited time, and actually I have to wrap up the video as well soon, within 5 minutes, and there's all kinds of distractions around me. It's a tourist place, but even then I managed to find this perfect spot, and there's distractions around me. However, I've created my own space because I know I'm deeply rooted, in this space, which is the I am presence. When you have landed the I am presence, especially, there's this field that's created. You'll always be within your higher heart space, and this field, like a bubble, like a dome that's created around you, and anything else that's around it, that comes within it, either has to fall away if it doesn't want to align, or it has to melt and become one with the higher vibration. This is higher vibrational law, that whatever is a higher vibration, the lower vibrations must align with it or fall away. So work with this field. This is what we are being asked to do, is to really deeply feel that within a space of calmness. Even when there's chaos going on around, that you can always feel this calmness from within. It's this place of no time, it doesn't have to do with the physical action or no action. Rather, it's a space within yourself that as outside of time. And like I was explaining, like I'm short on time as such when it comes to the linear framework, when it comes to the third dimension reality and what's happening around me. However, in the higher reality, things have a way of coming together. When we create that space, they will just fall together somehow, and things that we didn't think possible all of a sudden will tend to happen. And then what we feel within is this just flowing. It's like there's these ducks that are just swimming here now, just as I'm speaking, and they're just gliding on the water, and that's how you will feel always, no matter what's going on around. So these are some of the new values that are really important. And the main message of this video that I want to bring through, that's coming through spirit for all of us and for me as well, is to not try and place our security in something external. And the idea of security is changing, and we are deeply seeing what that looks like. And it's really about just being hands-free, not carrying all of these things around with us, all of this baggage, and needing to carry all of those things, because the more things that you carry, the more the less you won't be as light, and you won't be able to just travel free. So that applies to everything, whether it's our emotional stuff or the things that we think we need for our security. But if we are getting a certain nudge, which is also happening now, looking at the next year that's coming, where we might be getting some directions, and every couple of months this happens, of course. We have to be willing to trust, that the highest path is what we can choose, even though we don't see that level of security that we have, that we kind of know in the third dimensional sense. But security looks very different in the now for new humans. So just to wrap up, I want to say what are the values of the new earth humans and masters of the new earth, rather than just someone who has mastered themselves on the new earth and they're just living. But now you are claiming the land, you are claiming your place here, you are claiming the resources that the land provides for free. For example, everything, the land actually doesn't belong to anybody. the things that grow, the things that we eat, it doesn't really belong to anyone as such. We might have the governments controlling things and people owning land, but it really, nothing belongs to anyone, but it's all just here for us. So we have to come back into the knowing of that and what that really means, really sit with it, because that allows for a greater freedom in our everyday life. We tend to start seeing things very differently as well, and instead of this need to then hoard, this need to take permission from the government, from our relationships, from our job, our employers, just to do anything, just to live a free life. You don't need permission from anyone. Create your own permission, create your own freedom to do what you need to, and you will be, if you are living as a new master, you will be getting nudges to create new pathways that others have not before. And so this might seem like it's not possible, but that's why it becomes very important for you to be able to create your own permission, rather than wait for others to do your thing. And there's no insurance in the now. This is the value of the new earth. You just live in the now, and there's no insurance, there's no security. Rather, you live in the freedom of the now and the opportunities that the now provides. So a success and growth also comes from claiming the opportunity in the now, and then we constantly push our comfort zone, and adventure and exploration are what we are after, rather than stagnation and security and holding on to what we have. We have to know that whatever we have in the physical, any object or anything, any home even, it's temporary. Everything that is of the physical nature is temporary. It'll go at some point. So don't attach yourself to it. If you are holding a certain essence, like of security within yourself, of comfort within yourself, it'll find a way to come into your reality in the way that's best suited for the now. So this level of security needs to come within us, which is from the internal and not the external. And only those paths will be open for us now. The other paths, if we are still aligning with them, we won't find satisfaction, and there'll be some sort of discord and disharmony that happens. And yeah, basically, I hope that this video was helpful. And if I need to add something, I'll do it later, but I have to sign off now. And yeah, just let me know what you think. If you have any questions regarding Ascension or what I've spoken about, or if you want to comment about what you're experiencing now, please do write that in the comments below. It's nice to get some feedback and to know what kind of videos you would like to watch from me as well. Also, there's a sale that's going on in my services, and I haven't made many videos, so but I announced it a while ago, and please check that out. Of my personal services, there's a sale going on in the higher guidance. So if you would like some assistance on your ascension path, please look at that, along with other free resources, articles. And I'm on a trip right now, so if you want to also see pictures and articles about that, the kind of things that I share, all of that you can find on my website, which is www.livingourascension.com. The links will all be below this video. And that's it. This is me signing off from Sequoia National Park in California.